Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Another beautiful Saturday morning here on the Central Coast. So glad to have you guys joining us. In the studio with me today will be Miss Nikki Anderson to my right. Morning, Nikki.
Good morning, Mike.
And across from me, the one and only Mr. Dave Shamandel. He's your key to better golf.
Michael, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining me.
Love it.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys here. It feels like I was saying when I came in, it just feels like I haven't done this for like a year.
That's what going to Las Vegas does to you.
Yeah.
Last week was the best of, huh?
Yeah, last week was the best of. We played the AJ Bonner show.
That was a great interview.
With you and I and Jim here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that AJ Bonner interview, that had a really big impact on me for my own personal golf game. I don't know why, because we've interviewed him before, and it didn't click like this. But then I went out and played with Nikki at Monarch. What was that? Two Mondays ago?
Yeah,
2 Mondays ago, and just kind of came out of the chute firing.
Cool.
Like striking the ball really well, and I'm like, wow, this feels good, because I usually am a hit and miss guy. And,
so, what was your swing thought?
I'm not sure I want to share it.
Don't.
Yeah, I find
need it.
We'll have to talk about that. If you ever find something that works and you start talking about it with friends, like what happens?
It lasts for 1 minute.
The thing that's so funny about that is that then when we got together for my lesson, I kind of came on the same thing.
Yeah.
And I could tell when I was looking at you, it's like, why isn't he like talking? It was almost like you were trying to decide whether or not you wanted to have that conversation.
No. Yeah, I was holding off.
But man, what a difference it made.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'm a little, what do you call it? I'm going blank on the term for some
Scared.
Superstitious.
Superstitious, thank you. Scared's true. Yeah. There's times where I'm scared.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I have to remind myself nobody's going to die from this shot. But anyway, good to have everybody here. Glad you guys are joining us here on Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. A couple things we're going to have going on today for the show. Even though it was a couple weeks ago, we're gonna talk today a little bit about the PGA Championship, the 2018 PGA Championship. We'll follow that up with strange stories on the golf course. All of us have either played golf for a while. Dave and I have worked in golf for a long time, and man, I don't know if it's just like the weather or what it is, but it seems like there are the weirdest things going on public golf courses. Violent things.
Always have. I saw a guy shoot a cow one time.
On a golf course?
Uh-huh. Well, the cow was off the golf course, but yeah. It mooed at the wrong time.
And he had a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Why do you take a gun to the golf course? That's scary.
That is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure. Clubbing with Dave we'll have today, too, at the top of the second hour. We'll talk about this kind of kicked off a couple weeks ago about shafts and flex and do they really matter? And, I'm telling you, man.
And I finally calmed down, and here we go.
I'm going to get you fired up again, huh?
You bet.
And I texted you last night at about 10:30 and said, okay, here's what we're doing, Dave. And so you probably didn't sleep last night, but because of this topic. But I went to the Vegas PGA show with Billy, and we'll talk about that more next week when Billy's back. So we got to go through a few seminars and stuff like that, and I heard some more stuff, Dave. So I'm telling you, man, as a golf professional and a fitter who's always trying to learn, man, there's a lot of different ways out there.
Oh yeah, there are.
I mean, it's crazy. So we're going to touch on that with Clubbing with Dave, top of the second hour. In the middle of the second hour, we'll be talking about the 2008 Ryder Cup coming up real quick at the end of September, and Captain Jim Furyk and who he might make, or who he might pick for his captain picks. He's got a couple of those. And then at the end of the hour, we're going to do some Golf Talk Radio trivia. I'm going to see how smart Dave and Nikki are.
Great.
Or how dumb.
That'll be multiple choice.
Oh, good.
I'll try to make
boy,
it.
oh boy.
I'll try to make it. I'll try to make it multiple choice, as best as I can. So let's jump in. We'll go right into the morning BM here. And again, this is where we do weekly, where we have a segment where you just talk about anything. If it leads into golf, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But I will tell you, the one thing I'm going to talk about with the PGA show, if there isn't such a thing as karma, I don't know. I really believe there is. And we flew into the Vegas show last Sunday and left at about 5 o'clock in Santa Maria, got into Vegas. Smoothest dang flight I've ever had in my life.
Very nice.
It was so awesome.
Nice.
Landed on the ground. It was almost like we weren't even flying.
Is that Allegiant?
It was Allegiant. And no wind, no turbulence, nothing. Now, I'm okay with flying. There's certain things that I've had happen a couple times flying in planes. Like once I went into Vegas and we were going in for my 40th birthday and we're getting ready to land and it was really turbulent. And I look over and I go, oh, look at that 5-story building. We're almost on the ground. And within like 2 seconds,
Oh, no.
nose goes up, plane goes taken back off, pulls out of the landing.
Oh, geez.
And the engines are going, rum, 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 and I'm like, you could feel it trying to get back up in the air. And I'm like, that's not good. Like, this is not normal, right? So then we got to go back up into the flight pattern. And now we're back up in the turbulence bouncing around. And the captain is not saying anything. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's not supposed to say anything, right? So we get in the turbulence, bounce around, get back in the flight pattern to land. We land. And as he's coming in for the landing, he makes the announcement that we had to pull out from our landing because an aircraft crossed our landing path.
Oh, geez.
I'm like,
not good.
That's why he wasn't talking. He was cleaning up a mess.
I'm sure he was. And everybody, when we got off the plane that particular time, which this is like 9 years ago, everybody went straight to the bar that was in the airport.
Don't
Everybody.
blame him.
I don't think there was one person off that plane that didn't go get a shot at the bar at the end of that. That was one of the most interesting flights I've ever had in my life. And my dad being an airline pilot for 40 years, we talked about a lot, but we never talked about that.
Yeah.
And so we left the Vegas show a couple Wednesdays ago, and we get there early. We're supposed to leave at 4. We get there early, nice and sunny. It's Vegas, about 100 degrees. You can see out from the airport, see the mountains, everything's cool. And off in the distance, you see a little thunderhead, and I'm thinking like, doesn't say there's going to be rain, doesn't say there's going to be anything. Well, we're sitting there for 2 hours.
The monsoons. were
Plane
coming, huh?
plane hasn't come in yet that we're supposed to take, and the monsoons moved in.
Mm.
And so now you can see the rain coming down on all the mountains around the airport. And the plane coming in is late, and then you hear it's late because of high winds. And I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to keep myself, I'm not going to not get on the plane, but I know it's the anticipation of it being what it's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's spooky.
So we get on the plane. We board the plane an hour later than what we were supposed to. Then we get on the runway, and we're on the runway for 45 minutes. And then we take off. And it's like, I hate this part. I hate it. Like the going up, and the plane's bouncing left and right. It's just wobbling. Like it doesn't have a center axis to it. Left and right. And then he's banking to try to get up over the clouds, and he gets up over the clouds, and then it's like slight drop up.
Oh,
Up, down,
geez.
up, down, wobble, left, right. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I've got my Walkman on or my Walkman, my iPod, and I'm just playing music as loud as I can. And I'm playing Yahtzee with Billy, and Billy's trying to talk to me, and I'm like not listening to him, and I'm just like sweating, and I'm like, this is
There are no atheists in turbulence.
no. And so we get what I think we get out of it. Okay. It's sunny, clear, plane's going pretty smooth, and captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign, and like 10 minutes later, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be heading into some really strong turbulence. Please, crew and guests on the plane, please buckle up.
And you're going, what the heck was that
I'm
other
like, what?
stuff?
Like, is it raining in Santa Maria? Like, what's going on? Like that shouldn't be happening, right? Because when I left Paso a couple Sundays ago, it's 110. Like there's no storm in sight, right? So we get in, buckled down, and we're going in, and then he starts making the descent in, into the probably San Ynez Valley, to get to Santa Maria. There's nothing. There's hardly any bumping at all.
Mm.
But talk about getting
Well,
worked up. I was like,
That's spooky.
felt like a golf round.
When you never know what lurks around the next corner.
That's the whole tie into the morning BM. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've played rounds of golf like this.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting there, you're waiting to do your tee off, and all of a sudden maybe some inclement weather comes in out of nowhere. So now it's either going to be wet, it's going to be windy, you're not prepared for it,
And then life is good.
and then you get in it.
I think you just have to, in both those situations, you just have to say, hey, I got no control over
No,
what
that's
happens.
exactly it.
So I'm just going to go for it.
Talk about yin and yang. Billy's like sleeping. I'm like, how did you sleep through that? He's, oh, it's comforting. I'm like, what? There's nothing comforting about that. Like, that's absolutely insane.
We flew into Santa Maria one time, and there was turbulence like that,
Yeah.
and we had to come in sideways.
Oh, I've had those before.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is it. It's over.
Yeah.
And Lois cut the circulation off of my leg, hanging on. That was a wild. That was the only time I was ever in a plane that I was really a little worried.
I don't remember where it was, and my dad did prep me for this, and I had never had it happen at this point, but he prepped me by showing, so it had to be probably 15 years ago. He would film all the approaches into the airports. You're not supposed to do that, but he would do that, and he had them all like in a video file.
Uh-huh.
And so he would show me, okay, here's wind shear coming up. This is the way we go in. And it's like, he's at the front of the plane, and it's like, but Dad, that's sideways. And
Yep.
so then it was a couple years later. I can't remember where we're going in. It was probably into Vegas or maybe into Dallas. And I remember being on the right side of the plane, and the plane's coming in, and I can see a section of the runway as we're coming in.
You're not supposed to see that.
No. And I'm like, whoa, So it's like, yeah, all those things are interesting. The worst one I've ever had was and this was flying into Vegas. We had the rolls where we dropped, and I talked to my dad about it. He said we probably dropped about 2,500 to 5,000 feet.
Oh, geez.
We rolled and dropped, and it was like, and when I say rolled, it was like rolling over the top of water, like a wave,
Yeah.
and you're rolling off the top of the edge of the wave, and then you just drop. It's like a pocket.
Wow.
And we had people screaming on the plane. Some ladies were crying. I was practically crying because they're crying. And my friend who I'm with, Mark, is like totally fearful of flying. So he did the same thing that Lois did. He grabbed my leg and scared the crap out of me. And thank goodness we didn't have any of that. But I've only had that happen once. But flying is pretty amazing. And but like you said, Nikki, I know it's a control thing. And just like in golf, you can't control the outcome. You only can control what you control, whether it's setting up and how you set up, the choice of club you have,
Right.
how hard you're going to hit it, how big of a swing or small of a swing you're going to have, where you put the ball in your stance.
Sounds like you got a lot of control.
You do,
There
but
you
everybody
go.
wants to control the outcome,
Yeah.
and obviously you can't do that.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yep.
It's in the air. Who knows? Hit a bird.
Yeah,
Wind
really.
takes
Hit
it.
a bird.
You never know. You never know. So anyway, like you said, Nikki, too, when we landed, I'm like, okay, that wasn't that big of a deal. But it's hard when you're in the moment of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Just like a golf tournament.
Yeah.
You're in the moment, you hit a crappy shot,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
just like the world's going to end.
Oh, yeah. It's like everything
And-
just goes, woo.
Yeah, your brain just totally
Yeah.
shifts.
Yeah.
And then it's like a matter of how are you going to get out of that?
Right.
So I don't know. A lot of thought into that for me, and like, oh, this is like a round of golf. Especially tournament golf.
Yeah. Tournament golf is another animal, I'll tell you that.
Boy, it's crazy.
Boy. not
Absolutely
kidding.
crazy.
I'm not kidding.
So with that's our morning BM, you guys. Going to thank a couple partners of ours for sponsoring the show here. Golf Talk Radio sponsored by TaylorMade Golf. Check out the latest M3, M4 hybrids, irons, woods, fairways, drivers, which are woods, and also their putters at TaylorMadeGolf.com today. We'll be right back. We're going to come back and talk about the 2018 PGA Championship. We're going to have thoughts on it. Opinions, maybe some things that surprised us. Where does it rank in the PGA Championship history? So stay with us. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Be right back right here on the Golf Talk Radio Network.